Hello, here we are on episode 148 of Live Drawing. Tonight we're going to be working on one of the last two pages of Undersea Hero. So that's pretty exciting for the line art at least. We still got to color and letter the thing, but I just want to remind people that Planet Comics is on Kickstarter right now. There is a link in the description, and I will tweet out a link as well. I'll put that in the chat. I did the main cover for the book. It's a book put together by my buddy Jeff McClellan, and it's a sci-fi anthology. And he got permission to put the Tick in it, which is a character we both worked on for 10 years now. So hop over, check it out, support it if you dig it. Yeah, we're just gonna get right to work. This is a 2-page spread, and I just treat it as 1 page. So, hey Martha's, I'm doing all right. How you doing? Good to see you. Some of these panels are fun just because they're very simple, because there's so much going on. I'm just going to pull this line back a little bit. See, here's our prelim, and it's a big 2-page spread, and it just goes up and down. And this is a musical number and a heist going on at the same time, so scenes intersplice with one another as it goes along. A musical number in a comic book. Who knew? Who knew? Who saw that coming? Pull this back just a tad, so that we have more room for the next panel. Pretty much just moving it over one little bit. I like organic panel borders, so that's why I don't have a problem not using a ruler. And in Undersea Hero, it's supposed to give it kind of a flowy feel. Oh, you messed up your hand? I hope you feel better. Did you trip and fall? You don't have to say. I'm just, since you brought it up, I hope it's nothing serious and that you feel better soon. In my past, I've actually had to, there was one job that I quit doing because it was messing up my hands, actually. I was working on Nantucket in the summer at Barry Thurston's tackle shop in Nantucket, and fixing like fishing gear and spinning line. And yeah, it was just tearing the crap out of my hands. So, like, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. Got to take care of your hands, your vision. There are some parts of this job that require more physicality than people realize. It's just vertical microphone. Actually, I think his eye would be showing, probably. Pull it back a little bit more. Yeah, it's just, I actually was talking about this the other day about doing conventions, and that there's, there's a performance element to it. There's a little bit of an athletic bit to it. There's a fair amount of walking you end up doing. There's like carrying all your gear, the setup. Conventions are not easy. I've got some friends with some mobility issues, and thankfully, some of the convention centers have assistance for them, but not all of them do, especially at like the smaller ones. It's tough. It's real tough. I'm not telling you to quit your job or anything, but I did have to leave one of my like regular younger days, day jobby things, just because, like I said, it was tearing up my hands too badly. And it wasn't that I just, walked in one day and quit. I finished out the summer and I just didn't go back the next summer. That's when I started working for the Nantucket Historical Association at the Whaling Museum, which was a great job. Hey, Ethan, good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate people coming in to hang out and talk comics and art and all that good stuff. I haven't had a ton of time to read comics lately. What was the last one I read? I read a couple of old Thor comics. That was fun. Just roughing this one in because it's a kind of an odd shaped panel, like an odd subject matter. So never knew that at some point I would be drawing a close up of a moray eel singing into a vintage microphone. But here we are. Oh, nice. Old serials and movies. Love old movies. He said he just bought Magic #5 today with the great J. Scott Campbell cover. Nice. I haven't been to the shop, so it sounds like you've got to the LCS today. Was that the book you most looked forward to? Was that one, or was it a surprise for you when you got there and you were just like, "Oh, I have to pick this up. This just looks too cool." Didn't know if it was maybe on your pull list or whatever. Yeah, the old timey garb. That's usually a dead giveaway for people who do their research and don't do their research. Shoes are a dead giveaway. The most important aspect of this panel is actually Colonel Feathers. He's in the foreground, so we gotta push this character back some. Probably shrink her down a little bit. When I draw Colonel Feathers, I think of like two sections. There's like the head section, and there's like down where the feet are, and then they're just connected like here by like a sack. So like when I move it and I turn it, I usually bend it like on this axis. That's his little helmet. That's his little suit. then you put his little feet up. So like here's this. I'll show you. I'll just draw it straight right here, so I'm not drawing the outline. I won't cheat it. License plates. Yeah, that's right. See, it's just two little bits, and there's one foot that's right here. It's up a little higher, and the other foot is right here. It's going the other way. I do sometimes wish I could listen to music while on this thing, but I'd have to license that music and all that stuff. In the background. Oh, I missed a comment, I think. He's singing a cover to a song that I changed the lyrics to. It's actually the song Dream Lover, repurposed for an eel and his partner called Green Lover. I changed all the lyrics and wrote it all. And I actually considered hiring musicians to do it. But it just would have gotten out of control. I looked into having somebody do it, and it's just it follows the same tune and the same everything as Dream Lover. If you ever know that old song. I have to when I work on these big pages, sometimes just keep them folded in half so I don't get overwhelmed by how much pencil and drawing that is eventually going to go on this, 22 by 17 sheet. It's worth of paper. I feel like I'm pressing a little bit. Hey Daniel, good to see you. Hey, glad you're drawing along with us. So always glad to hear other artists are out there scratching away at their drawings or paintings or what have you. don't know why my hands are bothering me. It was a pretty long day today, so I can understand why. Just a little burnt out. But so the beauty of working in pencil is I can draw it, fill in the space, and then assess it and go back and erase or replace whatever I need to change later. But this will at least get my spacing down. Oh, it's okay, Martha. Everybody's got to take a day off, especially if you busted your hand up. And I was going to NostalgiaCon this coming weekend. I think they have drawing artists there for TV shows also. Very cool. Where is NostalgiaCon? I don't always remember where all the retro expo-y type things happen. I think there's one in Rhode Island, like a retro expo kind of thing. Oh, Anaheim, okay. Way over there. Yeah, when Undersea Hero is done, I hope to do at least one convention on the West Coast again for it. I don't know if I keep applying to San Diego, but I haven't been able to get a spot again. Um, maybe I can get into WonderCon or one of the other West Coast shows that happens out there. West Coast, try to do one in each kind of like section-y thing in each region. Do one in the West Coast and do one in the Midwest because I lived there for my time in like middle and high school. Lived in Ohio. Hey, Caleb. Good to see you. I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. Had a long day with corporate-y type work. Stuff that's less fun than drawing comics. Going through InDesign files and searching for repetitive comma and punctuational variances and discrepancies. Isn't that what we dreamed of as kids? One day I'll be able to go in and make sure that there are no extra spaces near any commas in a very large book. It's the kind of stuff that pays the bills. Yeah, back when I was young, I always ended up taking graphic design jobs just because they, like, as much as I love just drawing, they're just a more highly paid skill, and there's a greater marketplace for those abilities. Figures also the border for the comic there next to the mouth. Yeah, there will be a space there, but I'm just breaking it up. That would be a tangent, and my fellow comic book artists would murder me for leaving that in. I do have some wacky page layouts that I was actually just thinking about before I came on, and some nice experimental, what I almost abstract comic book ideas that I would like to try uh, when Undersea Hero is completed. I've been working on this book so long, I've got like a backlog of stuff that I want to do. I've put together just like giant Ziploc bags filled with just ideas. We're going to have to move this because, again, we're creating another tangent. There we go. When something is like inadvertently touching or barely touching, it creates what's called a tangent. It will mess up your composition or mess up your perspective. It can do any number of ways to damage your piece. One of the things that I would love to figure out how to fix on my streaming setup is a way to actually have the page where I would like to be drawing, where I naturally draw. I kind of have to stand at like an angle. And I know I've been doing it for so long that I've gotten better at it, but like I would love to just be able to sit and relax and draw, and have that be the stream that you folks see. Yeah, a tangent is when like two lines are close together. Like let's say, here's a good example. I'll just grab a pen so it's easier to see. Like let's say you're drawing, this is your drawing. Let's say you have like a foreground building, and then you have a bunch of background buildings like this. You would want to have your figure like standing in front of those buildings. But if for some reason your figure was like floating and like one foot was just barely touching the building, it would look like that's a tiny building instead of like a background building, if this is your character. So he's got a cape. There you go. There you go. It's in the foreground. Best I can explain it in a 2-second hello. Let's try to move this down to where I can see it better. It's a little better. So apparently they stopped making one of my favorite art supplies, which are the replacement bristle tips for the Kuretake brush pens. So when these wear out, I guess that's the end of the line for them. This is the package. And yeah, I guess the manufacturer stopped making them. I've been looking for them, if anybody has any of them in stock, like on eBay stores or whatever, but so far no luck. Let's see if we can pull these hands together. I find myself going back to basic shapes to try to really get things drawn more properly. Yeah, I've used zebra pens. I might have to look into their brush pens because Kuritaki's not making bristle ones anymore. So that's very annoying for me because I've been using them consistently for like the last decade or so. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit so you can see better. I was actually drawing pretty well today, but I had to do all that corporate work, so it threw me off for sure. So if I can pull this back a little bit. There we go. A fair number of people in tonight. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button over on YouTube. For those viewing on YouTube, helps out the channel, helps people find the videos. I think on Facebook, mostly people find it just because they're like my friends on stuff. I used to drink more coffee when I was younger, but I now just drink 1 cup in the morning and that's it. I used to drink quite a bit of coffee, and it took me a long time to kick the habit just because I was very caffeine dependent. But I don't anymore. I drink, like I said, one normal sized cup in the morning. And that would be like the normal sized mug that you'd find, at a diner or whatever. Yeah, when I was younger, I would drink coffee in the afternoon, and I used to have to pull all-nighters and stuff, and it was an unhealthy way to do it. I never got into energy drinks or anything like that. Now, if I'm really, dragging, I would uh, have afternoon tea, like a very light tea. I found that was enough of a push if I was feeling really tired, that would take care of it. Coffee just had gotten to where it was too much for me. A lot of people have asked me over the years whether it's this character or Helena, what the twisty belt is. I actually found these clothes that were made entirely tying knots of single pieces of cloth. Um, it was a different culture. I just thought it was fascinating and very cool, and I thought it was a neat look. And they were able to make so many different designs, just from different ways of tying pieces of cloth, like knotting them. And I just thought that that was so cool. And when I was designing my like fantasy world, like so many people pick from cultures that they would recognize, or that people would recognize. And I thought nobody's going to recognize this because I'd never seen it before, and it was just so neat and fresh and new that that's where that came from. Martha said they made a glorified GIF and it got 700 views. Is it on your YouTube page? I don't think I saw it. Got to get Michael's opening. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. If not, I hope things get better for you. Thank you, sir. Always excellent to hear your calm and needed wisdom. Oh, nice. Patrick says it's easy to be nostalgic for the past, but I'm pretty sure clothes were more durable in the 80s. Folks are nostalgic over that sweater in When Harry Met Sally. I think I agree that clothes were more durable from back then, but I think actually the previous generation said the same thing about their clothes too. So I've often wondered if it's really true or if it's just the shared narrative and perspective of experiential timeliness. As we age, we notice things more, and it's our responsibility to replace them and all those sorts of things. I'm trying to remember what my plan for the lighting was on this. I think it was backlit. Oh, I missed a comment. I keep missing comments. Sorry. That eraser looks rat shaped, Ian. Oh, this one? Yeah, I can see it. Yep. Yeah, I've been told making clips is the thing to do, but I just don't have the time. Maybe when Undersea Hero's done, I can do a nice facelift of the YouTube page. And I've actually been learning After Effects, so I can do new little animations. I've got that little logo animation of mine that I used to start the streams with. Um, so, but I've been able to design new ones and do all sorts of stuff. I should do like overlays and things. But then again, I don't know if I want it too overly produced. Like, I kind of like that it's just the camera and you see my name. And, I used to use like my signature. I don't even know if that's still there. Let me see if that's there. Just a second. Signature. Yep, there you go. There's my little signature. But it just kind of covers up more of the the screen. It's about the planned obsolescence for those clothes cards. That's why old people hoard. Here we go. Go back to the old Sculpey days. Rats have very long tails. It's more of a mouse now. There you go. He is great. You can basically use it like Photoshop too, just anything you want, and then take a freeze frame of it. I think I missed a comment because I'm a little lost. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, After Effects. Yeah. No, and you can do more advanced stuff. Like I'm working on a little animated bit at work where it takes one of the vessels and has it move, and the steam comes out, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I already knew Premiere really well, and it's got some really basic animation functions. But you can basically, like in After Effects, do darn near anything. Is what I've found. And then there's the Adobe Animates program, which I plan on diving into at some point. There's tons to learn. So much to learn. Make that as short and call it 3D modeling character in IRL. This is a terrible model. The little mouse. It was fun though. I used to like to sculpt. I actually have aspirations of when, again, another thing when the book is done, to do like a little sculpture of Lord Crackus and maybe do all the characters so that I could have them at my booth if I sculpted them myself. Or just make them out of Sculpey or whatever. Or if I did them out of clay and let it dry and painted them or whatever. I heard about that, Patrick. Is it out? Did you see it? Was it scary or was it just kind of sad? I know they did the Winnie the Pooh one, which people actually said was entertaining, I guess. But I don't want to see a murderous Winnie the Pooh. That's the opposite of the Winnie the Pooh that I need in this world right now. We need nice, kind, happy Winnie the Pooh. At least in my book, I think we do. By the Slayer Man. Oh, I bet Jay would go with you. I bet you guys could have a ball. I actually think Jay's the only person I would go see that movie with. Because it would be fun just to go see it with him. Because he is encyclopedic on horror movies. Like, encyclopedic. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. This one was actually closer, so it'd be like when they first hop out of the screen, or the portal. I think someone appropriated olive oil and is doing a strip. Yeah, we'll have some light coming up. I guess we can draw in this part because it's really, really not difficult. Keep our feet moving. One of the easy ways where you can give some sort of layered depth in something simple like this is when you have like your foreground teeth right here, you see them all in white. And then one of the ones that's on the other side of his mouth, you just block it out in shadow so that you have some on each side. And that way it's like you're seeing through the mouth to like where the other teeth are on the other side. That's just one of those nice little tricks to give yourself some organic depth with lighting. Working our way across the spread. Close up. So there's singing. There's the singing fish. There's a nice silhouette panel. It's a lot. I get overwhelmed on these big pages now. I get nervous. And so what I do is I fold it in half. I plan it as a 2-page spread, but I work on it as like one half at a time. keep trying to figure out a way to do another live stream with Jay and myself. Um, but it's tough with having lives and jobs and work and wanting to have some time off in our lives. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that if I ever wanted to see a movie version of any of this, it would have to be with practical effects like puppets and such. I think of like the old sci-fi show Farscape, where the Jim Henson Company did all the creatures, something kind of like that, but a comedy. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Oh, we're just drawing away. I don't think you missed a whole lot that you haven't seen before. Well, they're new drawings, but um, you know the drill. We're on to the last 2 pages of line art, and we'll be coloring, and I'll be lettering, and hopefully my pals will all be working on the flats while I get the lettering done. I'm really looking forward to that because that'll feel like a real sense of accomplishment when the whole thing is lettered and I can read it from start to finish as a finished project, like as a story. Gives you unfinished visuals, but you can see it come together at that point. Hey, it's Robert Carmona. Good to see you, Robert. How have you been? This panel here is actually one of my favorite panels because, I mean, who doesn't want to see a penguin using a cutting laser to get into a vault? I mean, that's the kind of thing that we've, as a culture, I think, have cried out for through the centuries. Why can't I see a penguin with a cutting laser cracking open a bank vault? Well, sir, thanks to this silly comic book. I saw a post about something like that. I didn't know that you were serious. That's wild. Somebody hacked into your account, and somehow Meta chose to bring you back into the fold. What was the penance? Did they say that you have to look at nothing but ads in your feed for your first 30 days back? Zuckerberg messaged you personally. It's like, Robert's getting all the ads. You're getting all the ads because we actually helped you out with this. Robert says, haha, it would be funny. I couldn't get in touch with anyone. It was very frustrating. I was checking the countdown to extinction every once in a while and suddenly got the message that they had ousted the bot and were returning your account. Wow. Wow. Customer service on this platform did something positive. I hope you bought a lottery ticket or something that day too. It's just unheard of. Unheard of, sir. Just want to get his little bow tie in there. And then she's going to be holding the microphone like this. And they're both singing. Meta owns your pics of AI. Ugh. I don't think I have. Maybe I have scanned it. I'd have to check. I've scanned a bunch of the pages, but I haven't scanned all of them. That's one thing I will be doing probably, in the next 10 days or so, getting the rest of those things scanned. I'll make a little flatting tutorial for you, Brian. It's not hard. It's I actually had Camille was helping me with flats on one project. And the way I do it, it only uses like 3 tools, so gonna have to use the mouse. Lose our little sculpture. There's a book by Richard Williams. That's like the animator's handbook, survival guide kind of thing. And I would say that that's like for panels like this, it's one of the things that comes to mind most is the way in which he described the elasticity of characters. It is already 9 o'clock. How about that? Is the Stanley Cup game started yet? Does anybody know? I don't know if we got any. I don't know if anybody else in here likes hockey. It's too distorted. Yeah, I'm sure they do own everything at this point, but thankfully, with the platform that I do my website on, they have helped put together a way that my images on there are not able to be scraped by automated AI, which is great. Which is another reason why I'll continue to use that platform and expand my presence on it and direct people to it. There's sometimes where I wish I could just pull up and work on this stuff, but I'm gonna just have to go back in and fix it later. Because on a stream, honestly, like I have a hard time just dialing in on this stuff. Like you see me making lines, but these are not necessarily the lines that I want to make. But again, like I said, that's why it's in pencil so I can erase it and fix it later. So, some of this extra line thickness here. There we go, that's better. That's better. That's coming along. Trying to figure out what it would look like for an eel to sing is a fun challenge. I don't need it to be realistic. Again, I just need it to be believable. There we go. I think I've talked about the Williams book before. And it's just how he is the gentleman responsible for the directing of animation for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all the different animation styles in that movie. trying to exaggerate a little bit more than you would see in like some of my other stories. Sometimes I like to draw in where the eye sockets are and little bits like that, just because it helps me to see the rest of where the skull is going to be. Try to line everything up. Even though it's cartooning, it still has to have a consistency and like again believability. I actually prefer when there's a little bit more exaggeration than the straight realism, because realism tends to be stiff. Oh, God damn. My hands are just tired. When I find myself breaking leads like that, I find that it's mostly because I'm tired. We're going to get through this. Try to get through this panel. As I've gotten older, I love the challenge of drawing believable, dynamic hands. Like, that's probably one of my favorite things to do. Hey, Rick. Oh, thank you. I'm excited for people to get it and for it to be finished, and for hopefully for people to really enjoy it. Good to see you, Rick. I hope everything's good with you and the fam. Yeah, and I'll share, pages as they get colored and, as they get lettered, so people can see the process continuing. Um, who knew we need a singing moray eel in our lives in the year 2025? Although, like I said, I think this is one of my favorite panels, this one that we haven't drawn yet. That's the one where Colonel Feathers is using a cutting laser to get into the penguin is using a cutting laser to break into a vault in the undersea casino. I just hope people enjoy it. Like one of the things about my writing style is that people are going to be like, there's not a ton of words in here. And they're going to run through it quick. And I hope people like soak in the artwork. Like, that's what I want. I don't want the words to get in the way of the artwork, and I want it to be faster paced. So I don't want to slow it down with tons and tons of captions. I do that intentionally in some stories when I need people to think. And in this, I really want people to react and just organically flow through the story. And I have a ton of other ideas for other Undersea Hero stories, but I will be doing a couple other things in between the next one and this one. I would love to put out one book a year, even if it's just a regular. So this is a triple-sized issue. This is the biggest undertaking I've ever taken. I would love to just put out maybe one single issue a year of it, or something like that, so that it stays fresh and I don't get bogged down and I can do what I need to do. But we'll get there. We're going to get there. Oh, you're welcome, Brian. Yeah, I was happy to do a cover for it. Yeah. That was one of those things that I couldn't tell you about that we had talked about with Ben at Baltimore last year. Jeff and I talked a little bit about Baltimore in the stream last week, and we went through stuff and talked about some of the things that happened there. And obviously we couldn't tell Bob, couldn't tell, you know, really the public at large about it until, Ben and everything had been squared away and legal beagle, and we were able to make it happen. And Jeff had worked with his other artists to do the interior, and Dwayne did and it makes perfect sense for Dwayne to be the artist on that story. He and Jeff really, like I've talked about this at length at different panels. So, if Jeff hadn't done the first free comic book day story that he did with Dwayne for free, they didn't get paid for that story. Like, they just did it. There would have been no Tick free comic book day books. So I've got many, many, many New England comics stories uh, akin to that in time, as things happen, I will share. And I'll probably write a blog or make a cartoon about it. And I have to work on this head a little bit higher. And this part I plan on there being like a spotlight kind of between the two. I have to get a circle template, but I'm just going to rough it in so you can see what it'll look like. It is 9:18. I think we're going to wrap it up for the night. Don't really have time to get to the penguin cutting into the vault, but I will work on that tomorrow. This is one of Colonel this is where we find out how like lethal Colonel Feathers is. You know, he breaks into the vault. He's doing all the action poses, jumping out of ships. We got the other half to show off. Or he's got the. She starts singing the tune. The submarine pulls up, and then she has like her little boop boopy doop. Yeah, we're getting there. And then there's a big panel in the middle where you see the two of them on stage together, and that's kind of the crescendo of the first stanza of the song. It's the beginning of the refrain, and then we get to the break in, and that'll be right in this space here. I gotta keep working. The some of the faces and stuff need some work. But thanks for coming in tonight and hanging out. We're gonna call it a night. I hope we had a good turnout tonight. So great to see you, Martha's, Rick, Brian. We even saw Robert. Robert popped in. Ethan came by. Patrick, Daniel. I don't know if is that everybody that was in the chat. Michael, yeah. Rick and everybody. So good to see everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your week and a good weekend. And I hope to see you soon. All right. Have a good night, everybody.